Welcome to Midlife Moves, where we're figuring out this whole midlife thing one day, one workout, and one what the hell just happened moment at a time. I'm Heather, and if you're navigating career shifts, fitness goals, parenting teenagers, or just wondering when the hell we became the grown-ups, you're in the right place. Let's talk about the real stuff, no filters, just honest conversations and a little bit of chaos. Let's get into it. Hey, it's Heather. Hi. Hey, hi. It's Heather Francis. Welcome back to another episode of Midlife Moves. Today's episode is a little personal. I have actually started recording this 4 times, and I just haven't been able to convey appropriately what I'm trying to convey without jumping all over the place. So we're gonna try this one more time, and we're gonna hope it sticks. We're gonna talk about beauty. We're gonna talk about beauty and aging, what it used to mean to me and what it means to me now, and how weird it is to be discovering your face and your body and your presence as a woman as it all starts changing. We're going to talk about aging, beauty culture, Botox secrets, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what it feels like to be so visible at this point in my life. Later in the episode, I will be joined by Liz Martin from MYNE Beauty, whose work is all about redefining what beauty looks like for women in this phase of life. But first, I'm going to take a few minutes to unpack my own story because I didn't grow up with a relationship to beauty at all. I do want to address a couple things going into this. There are limiting factors that I had in my adult life that contributed to my relationship or non-relationship with skincare and beauty. And part of it was financially. This shit can be expensive. And when you are struggling financially or just making it by financially, that like we were for a long time, I wasn't worried about it. Like I had other things to worry about. I was worried about taking care of the kids, and I was worried about like financially taking care of the kids and making sure the house was covered and we had food and like all of the basics. I was worried about that. Like we owned a business during the recession. We owned a home renovation business during the recession. Like you want to talk about scarcity. There was scarcity. There's financial limitations to this shit. And also there's time limitations. I've been very open. Like I have 4 children. I was recovering from a stroke. There's all kinds of time limitations. I had priorities, and my skincare routine was not on the list. It didn't even make the list. It wasn't just not on the list. It didn't even make the list. Like, because somebody could have asked me what my skincare routine was, and I would have been like, what are you talking about? I wash my face in the morning. And maybe at night because I don't wear makeup. It was just, I just got through the day. I just wanted to get through the fucking day. What a life, right? Growing up in the 90s, I just don't remember any of that being a big deal. Like makeup, sure. But like skincare it was like I washed my face, that was the extent of it. And I think even I used lotion to get my eye makeup off. Like it wasn't what it is today. So then I became a mom, and I still just did the basics. There wasn't a whole lot of attention paid. I bought the makeup I could afford. I bought the cleanser I could afford, and that was it. And that's what I did for many, many years. So then there was a point after I turned 40, after I turned 42, when after I started going to the gym and I started taking care of myself physically, and I started taking care of my nutrition. I looked at my skin and I realized I need to start preparing to age better than I have been, or at all. I just need to start thinking about this. It didn't feel like a crisis. It didn't feel like something that I'm so far behind. It just felt like something that I needed to start paying attention to. So I started playing with skincare. You know what I did? I went to ChatGPT and I said, I don't have a skincare routine. I know nothing about it. Where do I start? And it gave me a basic, like you need a cleanser, you need a toner, you need a lotion. And that's where I started. I used the wrong toner. I got the wrong toner. I had all these issues. And so then I was like, you know what? I think that I want to start getting facials because I need somebody to tell me what I need. I need a person. I don't know what I don't know, and I don't know what to ask, and I need someone to work with me on this. So I started getting facials. I go to a wonderful woman at Lifetime in King of Prussia, Amy Williams. So if you're local to me, she's the best. Just make sure I can still get an appointment if you guys go to her. And she started working on everything, and she was like, okay, well, this is what you need. And she gave me a very, like it's super easy. I don't have a ton of steps. I do have eye cream. She gave me like a vitamin C serum, but then it's lotion. It's not anything. I need it easy, and she gave me easy. And I have noticed a difference. I feel like my skin is brighter. I also hydrate better. I'm more conscious of hydration. I don't know who else is really bad at that. I'm horrible with that. So then this happened. Then the podcast started. And then this whole Instagram thing happened. And I see myself on camera a lot. And so did a large audience. And that large audience has things to say and would send messages. So I had that video go viral, and I had women, I assume they were women, I don't know who they actually were, send me messages asking me why I'm not doing Botox. I'm 44. I have wrinkles. I've got the 11 line starting. I smile a lot. I have, I have laugh lines around my eyes. I don't sleep well. I have, shit happening around my eyes. I have the nasolabial folds that, Botox isn't going to help. I would need filler for those. These are all things that just were never on my radar before. That kind of stuff was so even when I started getting facials, that kind of stuff wasn't on my radar. I was like, I don't need that. Not that I didn't need it. It just wasn't something that I had ever considered because why? I go to the gym and I work at home. Why would I ever need that? Enter social media. So then I did start thinking about it. The other part of that is the relationship that your spouse plays with your beauty. I have a great relationship with my husband. He thinks that I am the most beautiful woman in the world. And he cannot understand for the life of him why I would ever consider getting Botox or fillers. And he is incredibly vocal about that. He makes sure I understand that he thinks that would be ridiculous. And that's not coming from a judgmental place. It's not coming from a negative place. Like, to him, I am the most beautiful woman in the world. And that is absolutely beautiful. And I love him for that. I love him so much for that. I legitimately could have gone the rest of our marriage not wearing makeup and not having a skincare routine, and he would still tell me every single day how beautiful he thinks I am. Unfortunately, that doesn't help my own self-esteem, and that doesn't help what I see when I look at myself in the camera now, or when I look at myself in pictures and I see aging. I see flaws that I didn't see before because there wasn't such a large audience. And also, I'm looking for it now. I'm looking for flaws now. So finding the interest and the curiosity about this at this point in my life is a little strange. It's a little bit of a mindfuck. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody. But anyway, my relationship with my husband. So, I started talking about Botox. I started talking about, fillers, and everybody in my house was just kind of like, why would you do that? This isn't something that you need. But I also believe that this is a decision that every woman has to make for themselves. I was talking to one of the girls from my gym about that specifically one morning. And she was like, I'm willing to bet a lot of women don't tell their husbands that they get it, and the husbands just think they look well rested. And I was like, that is absolutely fascinating. Is that an option? Would I have to tell him? Would he ever really know? My husband does notice when I get a haircut. Like my husband notices everything I do. Like he really does think, the world, he's really a good guy. I was like, is that an option? So I came home and I got on Instagram and I was like, hey, ladies, who doesn't tell their husband about getting Botox? How many of you don't tell your husband, and how many of you do that do get it? And of the respondents, 64% said they do tell their husbands and 36% said they don't. The husbands just think they look refreshed. I think so. And I did make a joke in that I hope my husband isn't watching, because I would absolutely not tell him. And he watches everything I post. So of course he saw it. And of course he was like, why would you do that? But I maintain, I wouldn't tell him. I don't think I would tell him. More for my own, just like, let me do this. Let me get used to it. Eventually he would know. I might even come home and he'd be like, I know exactly what you did. Like he's very observant. The DMs from that Instagram, from that story. I got DMs from some of you that were like, hey, thanks for the idea. That's exactly what I'm going to do. It's like, oh no, just don't tell them where you got the idea. But then I also got DMs from a woman who was like, I go with my husband. And I was like, I love that. Like the two of them go and get it together. That's awesome. So, like there's a lot of reasons that women don't openly share if they get it, if they, what their routine is, like what everything is. And part of it is, judgmental. Like people are judgmental, even if they're well-meaning. And I understand why this is something that not everybody shares. And I think that that's your right to keep secret if you want to keep it secret. But I'm going to tell you, as someone who, I don't care what anyone does, honestly, like I don't think you need permission to do anything. I think that if this is something that's going to make you feel good, like if it's Botox or if it's fillers or, whatever it might be, or a BBL, go do it, or a facelift, go do it. Some of those things are not for me. But, and I don't do Botox now. I don't get Botox and fillers now. But that's not to say that I wouldn't in the future. It's just not what I'm doing right now. One thing that I've learned is lighting matters. I've also learned that color matters. It matters what color I'm wearing, and it matters where I'm sitting and the lighting and all of those things. So I'm like, there's ways to make myself look younger without doing all of those things. And without doing like Botox and fillers, and I'm leaning heavily into those things at this point. Not younger, just not so tired. If I can just make myself not look so tired without actually getting the sleep, because the sleep is not happening. It's just not happening. Enter Liz Martin. Liz Martin and MYNE Beauty, they don't sell a fantasy. They reflect real beauty as it evolves. She helps acknowledge the statement, you look really good, not you look really good for your age. Because we hear that a lot, right? Like, oh, you look great for 44. I don't want to look great for 44. I just want to look great. Like, just, like, I'm not strong for a woman. I'm strong. She's helping women embrace the season and not resist it. So let's get into it. Here's my conversation with Liz Martin, founder of MYNE Beauty, about visibility, aging, and redefining beauty from the inside out. So Liz, thank you for joining me today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks.
So you started MYNE Beauty. How has your experience with aging influenced that brand mission? What is the story leading up to the beginning of MYNE Beauty?
Look, I've been a beauty product developer for, I don't know, what is it now? 34 years, 35 years, like a really long time. And I've worked behind the scenes for so many big beauty brands. And in the last few years, it kind of hit me that none of the products that I've helped develop were actually talking to me or to women my age, right? I mean, when I started developing mine, I was 55, so I'm 57 now, and I knew how to make beautiful formulas, right? But I also hit the age where my skin had new needs and sort of my BS radar was fully operational. So, all the copy that we were writing about how, we can make your skin look 10 years younger suddenly didn't really mean much to me, because I knew my skin couldn't look 10 years younger. I just wanted to be who I was today. And so mine was really born from that mix of real experience, changing skin, and a desire to feel seen without needing to look younger, if you will. So, I mean, look, my skin was changing, my hormones were packing up and moving out, literally. And the message I kept seeing in the store was, "You're aging. We can fix it." And I was like, no, we don't need to be fixed. We just need formulas that get us, and a brand that meets us sort of where we are right now in our lives. So that's why I created, MYNE Beauty, which is skincare and beauty products made with women like us, like me, in mind, women who've earned their wisdom, and a few laugh lines and dark spots and wrinkles along the way.
Yeah. The 11 line.
The 11 line. Yeah. That's a killer. I have a funny story about my 11 lines.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I was talking to my son. He's like, "Mom, why are you so angry all the time? Why are you so angry when you talk to me?" And I was like, "I'm not angry. It was the intensity of that, of my speech was always like right here in my head." And he interpreted it as being mad at him. I felt so bad for the poor kid. I was like, "Honey, I'm not mad at you. I promise."
Well, no, because I have a girlfriend who, when we get together, she's like, "Stop." Because I'm the same way. I just always look very intense. It's just my normal look.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Stop it." She's like, "Stop it. You're, I can't, I do the same thing. I carry it
You
all
wear your intensity right here,
I mean, so many of us
Natural.
do. Yeah. You have to really train yourself not to do that, I think.
Yeah, or get Botox.
Or get Botox.
And look, I'm all about aging gracefully and naturally, whatever that means. I want people to age however they want to age, but there are things out there that we can do to ourselves that help. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of help.
No, I agree with that. Yeah. And actually with the anti-aging stuff, just thinking about products that I use, if I went to go get a facial and she asked me my skincare routine and I told her and she was like, "Well, what are you using that's anti-aging?" I was like, "I don't know.
I hate that word.
I don't know. She's like, you should be using an anti-aging eye cream." And I was like, "I don't know if it hits every other point. It has to hit that too." What does that mean? What does it mean? Anyway, so when you hear the phrase "beauty as we age," what comes to mind for you? And what do you wish people thought and understood about that phrase?
Yeah, that's a good one. Beauty when you're young is visual and physical. And as you age, it shifts, right? I mean, I'm 57 at this point. I can't compete with that cute little model in the Sephora stores. As you age, it shifts to a more cerebral thing, right? It's about confidence and resilience and humor and of earned wisdom. And that's something you can't have when you're young because you haven't earned it yet. You haven't lived long enough to really understand what that means. And beauty now suddenly is very deep, And I think of all the things I used to worry about when I was younger, like trends and a pimple and having that Rachel haircut. Remember when Jennifer Aniston on Friends had that haircut and everybody had it? And, did your hairdresser get it just right? And you worried about the most, what to me now seem quite silly, actually. I want a haircut that suits me. I don't care who has it or who had it. It has to suit me and my face and my, body. So I wish that people understood that it's not the end of beauty to get older. It's just a different chapter, Beauty evolves. And there's a richness to that, quite frankly, and a knowing, a little don't mess with me energy, right? As you get older, who cares if your haircut doesn't match the trend of the day, And I find that quite beautiful. And we just need products and messaging that really gets us, not our younger selves or our daughters,
Right. Yeah. Like the middle part.
Like
I
what?
tried. Like
Yeah.
the middle part.
Yeah.
That was the thing. But that's still a thing now. I was like,
Yeah.
no, thank you. Yeah,
Well,
I think that that's right. I think that, yeah, I mean, I think that that's really subjective too. Like what beauty is, as you know, like as everyone ages, like, and like to me at this point, it's just taking care of myself, right? It's
yeah.
like
Right.
it's me looking in the mirror and saying like, okay, you did the things that you needed to do.
Yeah.
And you know, like you drank your water today and you know, like you're loving yourself. And that's beauty as I'm aging today.
Right. Yeah. But, you know, it's funny because in our industry, beauty is defined as tight skin, bright eyes, colorful, shiny hair. And all of those things are fine, but you you can't mess with Mother Nature. Mother Nature and a higher power has decided that when a woman hits a certain age, she enters perimenopause and then she enters menopause and your body physically changes. My question to my own industry is, why are we fighting that? There is a gigantic group of women out there, 75 million strong, Gen Xers and boomers, who are going through this, who are changing before our very eyes.
Mhm.
And we still try to pitch them products as though they're 30. And we're not. And we never will be again. And we can't change that hormone imbalance through cosmetics. Now, I do think the medical community needs to catch up. I was just listening to Dr. Mary Claire. I don't know if you know who she is. She's
Yep.
fantastic. She's amazing. And the FDA is now re-looking at HRT for women. And the studies that were done previously, suddenly, people are recognizing that they were flawed. And, when we lose hormones, to be able to put them back in the body to have it function properly, that had been done on men already. But why wasn't it ever done on women? And so I love that this is all happening now. I'm happy for our daughter's generation because
Yeah.
I think by then this will have kicked forward. I'm proud of our generation and all the physicians and the doctors like Dr. Claire who are exposing it all and helping us. But, it'll be for the next gen. But I'm happy to see that that's all moving forward.
Well, and to your point, there is progress there. My own doctor, who I talked to a couple years ago about just hormones and just kind of getting an idea of where he landed, was kind of iffy about it at best.
Yeah.
And when I just saw him this year, he was like, maybe we need to start talking about this. So there was like a definite shift. So like we're seeing it,
That's
like it's happening.
progress. Yeah.
It may be slow.
Yeah. Well,
but we're
look,
seeing
things have to hit a tipping point. You can't force it, but once something gets enough groundswell and enough momentum and movement, it's bound to happen. And I'm sorry it took so long for so many women, before me and even my generation. It's probably not going to happen so quickly, but I have hope that it will get better quickly now. Yeah.
Yeah. Through your career, I'm sure that you have heard a lot of myths. We've already talked about a couple.
Yeah.
Or limiting
Yeah.
beliefs about aging and beauty. What are the ones that you would want to challenge most?
I would say that wrinkles are somehow a failure of your skincare routine that you had throughout your whole life. Again, like your genetic composition makes up so much of what we see on the outside. Your diet, what you did, how much you slept, all of that, all of it makes up who you are. And again, like you can't ignore the elephant in the room. Once those hormones are gone, all hell breaks loose inside your body. Your collagen, your elastin, the fibroblast, it all starts to deplete. And there's very little that you can do without intervention to get that to come back up. So wrinkles are somehow a failure of your skincare routine. Well, that's a myth. And that gray hair equals giving up. That makeup and skincare are for younger people or should be used to somehow correct our age. No, we're not anti-aging. We're pro-awesome aging. And beauty doesn't have a deadline. Beauty just changes as we get older because just like we were talking about before, it's like when you're younger, beauty is visual. When you're older, it's more cerebral. So we have to, as a society, make that shift. And advertising and marketing campaigns need to make that shift too.
So just, I guess, talking about wrinkles. So I'm going to ask questions because I don't know anything about this stuff. And if I don't know anything, that means people listening don't know anything.
Okay.
So like you mentioned Botox earlier.
Yeah.
So how do you view that working with the aging process and beauty as we age? Does that question make sense?
Well, look, it can all work together. It can. Those products, like things like Botox, they're designed to penetrate very deeply into the muscle, the skeletal muscle, and actually relax the muscle. And that's a very deep muscle. It's a skeletal muscle on the bone, and it literally relaxes it. It freezes it. It's a neurotoxin. Now, what that does is, if you think about muscle under the skin that's on top is going to follow whatever that muscle does underneath. So the skin itself is going to collapse. And so by freezing the muscle underneath it, you actually take the skin on top and you smooth it out. Is it wrong? Is it bad? No. I mean, we've been trying to do it topically with skincare creams and sunscreens. Sunscreen is a whole other topic. Absolutely need it every single day. But there's nothing wrong with it. I'd like to see long-term data just to make sure that, these materials that are being injected into the skin, fillers and whatnot, aren't disrupting the human body. I'd like to see those studies over time, but they are game changers for some people. Some people need that extra or want that extra little help. Again, thinking about the conversation that we had earlier, if we can get past the fact that lines and wrinkles are normal and natural and they're signs of pro-aging, then maybe that market will decrease, but we've pushed it so far that as you get older, we don't need lines, we shouldn't have lines and wrinkles. Celebrities are the worst because they sort of show people this glamour look. It's impossible to achieve by just using a cream and a lotion every single day and even using sunscreen. It's impossible to achieve. So again, like maybe there will be a shift and we'll start seeing more of like the Andie MacDowell's, she came out, that beautiful model. She came out with that beautiful head of silver curly hair and she didn't have any work done to her face and she looks stunning.
Yeah.
Paulina Poroskovich, who used to be the Estee Lauder model, who is stunningly beautiful, is so natural and gorgeous today that I'm hopeful that models like that will become models for our future so that women feel like that's something to aspire to versus, no offense, but like a Kris Jenner. How many facelifts have we had? And she looks gorgeous.
She does. And there's nothing wrong if somebody wants to go that route.
No,
absolutely.
There's not.
But it's like Sarah Jessica Parker is another one.
Yeah.
She's just aging and she's beautiful.
Yep. She looks great. She looks
great.
Yeah.
She looks her age.
Right. and I mean, like really, you can pick out a lot of them, Cameron Diaz, and there's a bunch of women who are trying to age, I would say normally. I'm not going to say gracefully. I hate that word. Well, I don't even know what that means, but they're just aging normally. I would like to see more of them because I think women need to see more of them.
I think all of us would like to see more of them.
Right?
Just normalizing all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting too, as you get older, confidence, because of everything we've just discussed, I find, I don't know how you feel about this, but like I find women's confidence kind of plummets a little bit because our beauty changes, and suddenly we have to contend with looking in a mirror at a face that we don't really recognize today versus what we remember of ourselves back when we were 20 and 30, or even in photographs. And it can knock you down a little bit. It can make you feel bad. Like, gosh, I go into a store or into, like, let's say a Sephora, for example, and I see these young girls, 18, even 30, and they look so good. And I don't, it can make you feel bad. So I would love to get to a point where women just don't look at younger women as what I wish I could still look like. But I want younger women to look at older women and say, I want to look like that when I'm older.
That's what I want to look like.
Right?
Yeah. 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 That's a great way to look at it. And I'm sure I'm sure there's a lot of us that they do, because really 57 now isn't the same that 57 was 30 years ago.
True.
Like we are aging differently just because we're smarter about skincare. So that, I think that's a thing. Just like 40-year-olds don't look like 40-year-olds. Like, weren't the Golden Girls like 40 or in their 40s or something like that?
Crazy. Yes.
Yeah. Think about that.
The cast of Sex and the City was the same age when when they were shooting as Golden Girls was supposed to be when they were shooting. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
50 and 50. When you put those two groups next to each other side by side, it's staggering and shocking.
Wild.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I knew about the Golden Girls thing because I saw somebody, because I was like, I'm the same age as Rue McClanahan was.
Right?
like, what a difference. Yeah.
Wow.
How do we do this? How do we create more space in everyday life that celebrates aging instead of trying to hide it?
Well, I think it starts maybe with visibility, real, unfiltered, imperfect visibility. I think we need to show up as we are and maybe not even wait to be invited, right? Like, whether it's sharing our photos without filters or speaking up when something doesn't reflect our reality, like building brands like MYNE says things like, this is who we are. We're proud of who we are, and we're not going anywhere. So I don't know. We also need to stop buying into the shame, right? This whole, you look great for your age. Oh God, I hate that.
I hate that. I hate
it's such
that.
a passion. We look great for humans who have lived.
Yes.
Period.
We look great.
We should be grateful of where we are at our age, because the alternative isn't great.
Yeah, no.
So, that frustrates me the most, especially now at my age, because I really hear it. I really hear it when someone says, gosh, you look so great for your age. The hell does that mean?
Yeah.
I hate that. What does 57 look like if I look?
What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah. What does that mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a pain point for me, as you can tell.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's a rational pain point. That annoys me too. I hear that, like, I am, with my fitness stuff, it's like, well, you're strong for someone your age. No, I'm strong. I'm just strong.
Strong, period.
Period. The whole for your age thing makes me absolutely crazy in any space. Yeah. Especially.
But it gets more and more obvious the older you get. I see women with gray hair, or it's obvious they're in their 60s, right? I mean, that's okay.
Yeah.
But it's not that you look great for your age. You just look great.
You look great.
Can't we just figure out how to stop the sentence there?
Yeah.
And
I think we're all so conditioned to do that, because I'm sure I do it. Sure I do it. It's just something that we're so conditioned, like that, like youth and beauty. And it's just something that we're so conditioned to strive for and to look for.
Yeah.
And really part of it is teaching our daughters.
Very, very good point. Yeah.
So when you and I talked before, you had indicated that, you're starting to see a shift in the way
Yeah.
like the aging population is represented within like beauty brands. Where do you feel like we are now, and how much work is there to do still?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there is definite progress. It is happening. You see campaigns now with older models, but they're still really beautiful and very curated. They have to be. It's a beauty campaign, right? But even outside of the world of beauty, older models are beautiful, and they're curated, and they're airbrushed, and their silver hair is shining and flowing and beautiful, and it's better. At least they're being represented. But I'd still love to see it be a little more real, if you will. So it's happening, but it'll just take a little bit more time. I think that, again, like we need more realness. We need more diversity in skin texture, life experience. Like it's okay to show some age spots. They're natural. They happen over time, And I think it's okay to show it, because if we don't show it when people have it, they're going to think it's a flaw. And it's not a flaw. It's just something that happens as you age, So I don't know. I think that we need to show women who look like they've lived, because that's really where beauty starts getting interesting as you age.
And I can tell you, like, one of the most damaging things for me is like social media. But the filters that they automatically apply, like if you record in TikTok, it automatically applies filters. So you see that, and like you're like, oh, I look good today. And then you look at the camera another time and you're like, wait a minute, I don't look like that. It alters your sense of reality. I think that that's super damaging to women to people in general, not just women. But one last question for you before we wrap up. We've talked a lot about the industry in general, but like for you personally, what's one thing that you have let go of, and what's one thing that you have embraced more in terms of your own beauty?
I think it's the notion that I have problems to solve. I don't have problems to solve anymore. I just want to sort of keep what I have in place as long as I can. And if it starts to fall and starts to sag, c'est la vie, I've had a good run, but it doesn't make me any less beautiful, because I think at that point, I've enjoyed where I am. I feel more confident. I appreciate my age. And I think that comes through that confidence and that love for life, that aging suddenly isn't aging, like how it affects you visually doesn't matter so much anymore, And I think we, at this point in our lives, we deserve beauty that celebrates where we are. It doesn't try to make us disappear, that's all.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
No, it makes perfect sense. No, it makes perfect sense. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. And I think we just need to keep saying that over and over to ourselves.
And we need to keep saying it to each other and remind each other. It's very easy to get down on yourself or compare yourself to other people and where they are. But, when you say you've lived a long life, and you look at the person next to you, you have no idea what that person has been through. You have no idea the challenges and the heartbreak or the good things that have happened. You have no idea. And it's a long journey, and it can take its toll on you,
Yeah.
So
oh yeah.
I think it's important that we lift each other up and we remind each other that where you are in life is exactly where you're supposed to be. And congratulations. You look amazing. You are amazing. We have to keep reminding ourselves of that.
I love that. Yeah. You look amazing, and you are amazing. I love that. I love that. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking to me today.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Thank you. This was great.
This was a lot of fun. I'm glad we did this.
Good.
And if anyone wants to learn more about you, I will make sure your information is in the show notes.
Amazing. Thank you. MYNEBeauty.com.
MYNEBeauty.com. All right.
All right. Thanks, Heather.
Thanks, Liz. That's it for this episode. If you had fun, learned something, or just feel a little less alone in the chaos, make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And if you want to keep the conversation going, come find me on Instagram at HeatherMoves_, because midlife is way more fun when we do it together. Until next time, keep moving forward, or at least keep moving. See ya.